They were fed up with a lot of the way things were going. It wasn't just modern standard medicine, it was also the alternative medical field. There were issues that weren't getting addressed. So then I had this big epiphany. I realized that one day that I'd been talking to these women about surface stuff. They'd call me and say, Don, I got hot flash, or nice, what's their gaining weight or something. And I would just say, okay, well, here's what I would suggest that you do. And that was sort of the end of it. And then it got to where I started hearing that wasn't enough. I'm just not, they wanted more. And so if I'd ask a few questions further, there were times where I would hit like this emotional hot button. And then all of a sudden, the women would be on the, I'd be talking to them on the phone, and this just overcome with emotion because I said something that related to what was going on in their life. And then it was just sometimes uncontrollable sobbing for a while as we worked through this. And I started thinking, now, wait a second, there's so much of this, pain behind these symptoms. And when I further talked, we weren't talking about hot flashes or weight gain or nice, but we were talking about sacrificing themselves for everyone else. We were talking about unrelenting stress, in their lives. We were talking about them feeling unappreciated. We were talking about job stress, relationship stress, family stress. And I started realizing that all these women are showing up at the doctor's office. They got a time ticker going on because, the average time in a doctor's waiting room is 20 minutes. Average time for dialogue is 6 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, all this pain behind these symptoms, that's really what the main problem is. And they got 6 minutes to get that there's no way they're really talking about the actual issue, what's really going on. You see? So then it's totally changed my entire way of thinking, my entire paradigm. I started thinking, you know what? Here's what's going on. If you just look at it like an equation, instead of saying, oh, you got a hot flash, let's try to give you some hormone drugs, or any type of premenopause or menopause symptom, this is the treatment for that. So sort of like a recipe book. And women just don't fall into one category. There might be many, many reasons why they have that symptom. And then we're finding out that these hormones that they're giving them, these hormone drugs, they might not be the best idea. They're causing a lot of the problems they thought that they were preventing. So now women are even more confused about what to do. So I backed up and said, look, here's really what we got to start looking at. And that is, this equation is the human body and mind can only take so much of a burden of stress until under that burden it begins to break down. Understand so far? Yeah. If that burden becomes more than the ability that a woman has to cope with it, what will happen is the body will start showing signs of breaking down. And as those signs manifest, we put a label on it.
That's where all the symptoms are. The menopause,
stubborn weight gain,
the sweats.
Exactly right, exactly. You see? So now I've got this place where we can now begin to look, and we can start at the very beginning, because what's happening is when the woman would go into the allopathic doctor or the natural doctor, whatever, they're starting at a place where they just want to know, what's the relationship? You've got a problem, I'm the doctor, tell me what it is. You tell me you're having hot flashes, immediately the doctor's going to go, okay, well, you're 40-some years old, you're in premenopause, here's what you do, here's the hormones, write the script, out the door. Not one thing was said about the actual cause of that woman's problem. Not one question was asked about this pain, this stress, this stockpile of unrelenting problem that this woman is having in her life. Not one thing was said about that. So what do we do about the actual cause of the problem? Zero, right? So now everything becomes just treating symptoms. Even when they say they're treating the cause, they don't know what the cause is. They're just treating symptoms. So I pulled back and I did a deep dive study into things like hormones, metabolism, brain chemistry, immunity, stress, anti-aging, because I had all the data right in front of me. I interviewed all the great experts. But what I found was there's a very competitive world out there when it comes to especially the people in alternative medicine. And they don't talk to one another. They compete against one another. So nobody wants to give anybody credit. So if I look at something in the stress world and then I'd look at something in, say, the endocrinologist and metabolism or the hormones, there was so many links between the two, but these guys weren't talking to one another. So I realized that I could start putting these pieces of the puzzle together. So when I did that, I came up with this protocol, this concept that said, look, we start at the beginning. And the way to start at the beginning is you've got to look at what you can do about this stockpile of stress that's first causing the problem.